Let's take a look at the grid then for our final race of the day here at the Rotax International Open. Pole position is Andreas Batman, who was quickest just about in qualifying on Friday. He then won heats 1 and 2, and then as he is described to us on the grid, a problem with the spark plug meant the kart died on the formation lap for heat 3. That meant he had to start 8th on the grid for the pre-final. He duly won the race. That's why he's on pole position. Philippos Kalesis, as I said, on the grid, and as I suggested to him, has got quicker and quicker this weekend, so he's second and a real threat here and desperate to get through to the grand finals. On row 2, Adam Glier getting quicker and quicker this weekend as well, and has been in the mix all the way through the heats and the pre-final. Sean Slavin looking pretty cool as a cucumber. He'll go for it from 4th on the grid. On row 3, then we've got Matthias de Tiege, the former Euro champion, and he is on the inside, on the outside of that row. It's Harolds Garkaklis, who was playing down his chances maybe of battling away, but we'll see how he gets on. Christoph Adams is last away from the grid and giving it the big thumbs up to everybody as he comes past. Christoph Adams, by the way, the former Grand Finals champion, he's starting dead last, 34th. There was a bit of an error putting his front wheel nut on, and the wheel came loose on the formation lap, so he never started the pre-final. So where do we get to? The 4th row of the grid, Kevin Ludi and Barry Pullinger. Row 5, we've got Konstantin Scholl and Jan Vuncek going well in 10th place. Luca Kamali and Henrique Batista start on row 6. On row 7, you heard from Cristiano Magado, multiple world champion. He's here with QZ Racing this weekend. The South African is the highest placed master. 14th on the grid alongside is Gerard Sebrian from Spain. On row 8, we've got Aaron Sherlock and Sanad Al-Rahawi. On row 9, then we got Martin Pearce, who is the second best master, but he's already got his place through to the grand final, so he's not necessarily the main threat to Cristiano Magado, because if Martin were to win and Cristiano were to finish second, Cristiano would still get the ticket, I believe. So he's got a bit of a comfort zone here, Cristiano Magado. Got Oriol Dalmo 18th on the grid. 10th row, Steve Bull and Tom Petlick. 11th row, Marco Gotler and Tamakuzi Kawazi. And then on the 12th row of the grid, Gino Teng and Tamsin Germain. The next row, row 13, is Geza Fodor and Pedro Pezo. Row 14, Jamie Billings and Thomas Schumacher. Row 15, Javier Campo and Martins Lapans. And then the penultimate row, Cristobal Garcia Ramos and Philip Siwa. We both had bad luck in the pre-final. And Ronald Binnings and Christoph Adams are on the final row of the grid, starting 33rd and 34th, respectively. On the social stream, Elias Leekins says, "Go, Matthias de Tiege." And referring back to the last race, Jensen Butterfield says, "Well done, Ollie," as in Ollie Myers, for getting his podium finish. So go, Matthias de Tiege, from Elias Leekins on the social stream. As I said, good to see him back up there after a difficult couple of years. He's going well, but he's got work to do from 5th if he wants to get into the top 2 and a place at the grand finals. So the top 2 bunch them up now. Andreas Batman, and you can see to the left of your shot with a dark coloured race suit is Philippos Kalesis. The Swede and the Greek on row 1, 2 British drivers on row 2. England's Adam Glier, Scotland's Sean Slavin, row 3 the Belgian de Tiege and the Latvian Garkaklis. The Swiss Kevin Ludi, the British Barry Pullinger on row 4, and 2 Austrians together on row 5, Konstantin Scholl and Jan Vuncek. Here they come then, ready for the start of a 14-lap race. The Rotax International Open 2014 DD2 race gets underway. The lights go out and it's a good start for Andreas Batman. He's going to get there first through turn 1. Philippos Kalesis will hang on around the outside for second place as well. Sean Slavin trying to get into 3rd position, but I think there are 1 or 2 coming around the outside of him now, making good starts. Matthias de Tiege made a reasonable start as well. It's going to be a real dogfight for 3rd place through the next couple of corners, but at the head of the pack, Andreas Batman has had the perfect start to the race. Kalesis tucks into 2nd. He'll be pleased about that. De Tiege is going to emerge in 3rd position. Slavin will come through next in 4th place. So he made a very good start there. Those 4 lead the way through turn 6 for the first time, accelerating into the right-hander at turn 7, arcing back on themselves, then down into the big sweeping right-hander at turn 8. First and second looking comfortable as far as you can at the start of a race. 3rd and 4th pretty much together here though. And 1 or 2 fighting just behind as well. Harold's got Catholics, still seeing the mix there. We'll keep an eye on the Masters drivers as well. See if Morgado's still in the lead at the end of the first lap. Through they come then. The top 3 as I gave them to you. Sean Slavin 4th. Oriol Dalmo's come to 5th. Adam Glier is in 6th place. 7th is Garcaklis. 8th is Ludi. 9th is Pullinger. Enrique Batista is 10th. Jan Vuncek 11th. Cristiano Magado is in 12th place. So he's moved up the overall order a bit and continues to lead Masters. Tomokazu Kawazi is 2nd in the Masters and running in 16th place. And Tamsin Germain is on the podium at the moment in Masters. She's come ahead of Martin Pearce and into 22nd place. Martin down to 23rd. So Tamsin's made a reasonable start here, but a lot of work to do to try and close the gap to Cristiano Magado. Batman leads then. Kalesis 2nd. Slavin's got through to 3rd through the hairpin section in the middle of the lap. Detage's down to 4th place and trying to hold them up at the moment. Kevin Ludi looks like he's just picked up a place and now into the top 7, I think. So Kevin Ludi, the Swiss driver, picking up a place on the run into turn 8. They accelerate through turn 10 now onto the start-finish line, with Andreas Batman building his lead here. He was 6/10 clear, he's now 7/10 clear. Bit by bit the Swede pulls away. He's had the advantage. He's driving beautifully at the end of the season. He's been so consistent this year. He started with the podium finish at the Winter Cup at Campos here in Spain back in February, and he's been in and around the top 6 all year long, super consistent, and then he really came good with that victory in the final round at Salisbury, and he's carried that form through to this event here. So confidence getting more and more. He's getting better and better, and something has just clicked this year for Andreas Batman. He's going very, very well. Into the pits, I'm afraid. We've got one coming in with a retirement, and that is number 639 by the looks of it. So 639 drops out of the race into the pits and is not going to get going again, and that's Enrique Batista, the Portuguese driver, who did start in and around 10th place. So Batista out. Still a long way to go in this race. And the DD2 then carts heading up to top speed. Andreas Batman pulling clear. Kalesis coming under attack from Sean Slavin now. He's right with the Greek as they go towards turn 2. He launches an attack. First chance he gets, and Slavin goes through. Good move that. No hesitation whatsoever from Sean. That's kind of his driving style, and it's working for him so far this weekend. So even if he can't win this one, 2nd place will do, because that'll get him through to the grand finals. Kalesis is 3rd. Nobody wants to finish 3rd in this race. And then we've got Detige closing in 4th place. Adam Clear at the back of that quartet is in 5th. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th all together. And we've had some good racing here. Andreas Batman has had the edge. Didn't start where he probably should have in the final, in the pre-final. But it doesn't matter, as he said, he's where he needs to be now, and that's all that matters. But I think we're going to have a big fight for 2nd place here. Kevin Ludi's got up to 6th now. Oriol Dalmo is 7th. Harold Garcaklis 9th. Jan Vuncek is... Dalmo is 7th. Garcaklis 8th. Vuncek 9th. Barry Pullinger 10th. Cristiano Magado is 13th, but still leading the Masters category by quite some distance. We'll keep an eye on the progress of the others to see if they're getting anywhere nearer him. Just watch 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th go through turn 2, but there's no change. So Magado is the leading master in 12th place. Martin Pearce back ahead of Tamsin Germain now. They're 20th and 21st, 2nd and 3rd in class. Christophe Adams has made up quite a lot of time in this race. The Frenchman's up to 25th place and is now 4th in class. So the Japanese driver, Tomokazu Kawazi, has dropped out of the podium positions in the Masters race. Magado still controlling things. Tamsin Germain, the bad luck in the pre-final, may well cost her a chance at getting that ticket to the grand finals. It's not the top 2 masters, just the top master that will get through. Andreas Batman is now 1.2 seconds clear. His last lap was his quickest so far. Sean Slavin was a little bit quicker. He's set the fastest lap of the race. There's a long way back though on the Swedish driver as they come out through turn 10 over the start-finish line. Slavin is definitely pulling away from the next group though, and Detija's got through to 3rd now. So Kalesis is down to 4th place. Still with them in 5th is Adam Glier. 6th and on his own is Kevin Ludi. 7th and 8th are together now. Jan Vuncek's got ahead in that little duel. So he's gone 7th, the Austrian. Driving well here. Dalmo down to 8th. Kamali 9th. And then Konstantin Scholl running in 10th place. Tom Pitlick is one that's made a few places up in the last couple of laps. He's 17th at the moment. As our race leaders go into the braking zone now for the left-hander at turn 6. Bit cagey on this lap, nobody really attacking anybody else. Slavin just trying to get his head down here and pull away from 3rd, 4th and 5th if he possibly can. But he's got a pretty dangerous man on his tail. Matthias de Tige, very, very experienced Belgian, a champion, a race winner. Let's see if he can find enough time here to just be able to close that gap. If he can get to within a 2 or 3 tenths of Slavin, he'll then start to pick up the toe. Across the line they go. Philippos Kalesis still hasn't given up in 4th place. Adam Gleer just going with them in 5th, having a good drive here. 6th and 7th bunching up, so are 8th and 9th, and there's going to be a change as Luca Kamali pulls off a good move down into turn 2 on Oriol Damo, the Spaniard. So Kamali with a good move there. Heard from him on RGMMC TV earlier in the weekend. Magado is still leading the Masters. He's in 12th place, and Martin Pearce is edging away from Tamsin Germain now. He's put Marco Gottler in between them. Now 19th and 21st respectively. Christoph Adams is 4th in Masters. Javier Campo 5th at the moment, ahead of Thomas Schumacher, who is 6th in the Masters category. They're all fairly close together, apart from Cristiano Magado, who's well clear of all of them, having had a much better grid than them for the start of the race. So the pace, a 62.6 for Bachmann last time around, a 62.4 for Slavin. He's closing the gap. 62.5s, 6s and 7s for the group behind. So in that lead group, Sean Slavin is the quickest. He wants to go for the win here. And Andreas Bachmann, I thought, might kind of have a fairly easy run here, but it's not going to be the case. There's a change on the way into turn number 1 for 6th place. And that is Kevin Ludi having a big battle with Philippos Kalesis. Jan Vuncek and Kevin Ludi, and Vuncek getting through. Now Jan Vuncek just picking them off one by one here and going very well. Bachmann was 1.5 seconds clear at one point. The gap is now down to more or less half a second as they go through turn 5 down towards turn 6. A 62.6 for Bachmann on that lap, another 62.4 for Slavin, so he's a couple of tenths quicker on every lap. De Tige is pulling away from Adam Gleer, who's now 4th. Kalesis is at the back of the group in 5th place. Things not going his way. Kevin Ludi having lost 6th place now to Jan Vuncek at the first corner. Kamali, Scholl, Pullinger all in the top 10 as well. Somebody runs off at turn 6. Yellow flags wave. The cart's still going, and it will rejoin at the back of the pack, I think, as the leaders go through, and the gap from 0.7 of a second to 0.3 of a second. He's halved the gap on that lap. Sean Slavin with a really quick lap there, 62.2. So Andreas Bachmann for the last 4 laps has been doing 62.6s, and Slavin is almost with him now, and the others are catching up the leader as well. So actually, of the top 5, the leader is the slowest one, only by a tenth or 2 tenths of a second, but it's enough to put him under pressure now, going towards the last third of the race. 5.5 laps remain. Top 2 places go through to the grand finals. At the moment, Bachmann and Slavin are in those positions. Slavin controlling the race here in 2nd place. Knows he's pulled away from 3rd, but I think he'll probably be aware that if he just sits behind Andreas Bachmann, he's going to be inviting trouble from the others to catch them both. So if he gets a chance, I have absolutely no doubt that Sean will go for it and pull off a move. These two have been together all weekend long. There's not been very much between them. They've overtaken each other several times. Cooley, the Scotsman, adjusts his carburettor on the way down the straight. 5 laps to go. Slavin now right onto the tail of Bachmann as they go through turn 2. The gap down to 0.1 of a second. Through turn 3 is quicker. Closes in again under braking into the hairpin. Doesn't have a go yet. Matthias de Tige is only 9 tenths of a second behind them in 3rd place. And now comes the change of lead. Slavin goes through at turn 5. Cool as you like. Bachmann gives him room. Good driving from both men. So the leaders swap around, but they're both still going through. It's worth bearing in mind, actually, of course, that 3rd place is going to go through to the grand finals at the moment anyway, because Andreas Bachmann's already got his ticket. He finished 3rd in the Euro Challenge Championship, so he's already qualified for the grand finals. So Matthias de Tige will, I'm sure, be aware of that, and 3rd place will be good enough to get through in this instance. 4th place is Adam Gleer. Philippos Kalesis has fallen away from that group now in 5th position. Jan Vuncek looking good in 6th. Luca Kamali's gone up to 7th. Konstantin Scholl to 8th. They both got ahead of Kevin Ludi on the last lap, who's 9th. Barry Pullinger 10th. And Cristiano Morgado is just outside the top 10 in 11th place. Martin Pearce continuing to close up to the main group in the midfield. He's 17th now. Oh, and Ariel Dalmos lost quite a few places on that lap. So Martin Pearce is now 2nd in the Masters category, running in 17th place overall. He's about a second clear of Tamsin Germain, who is now behind him in 18th position. So they're both making progress in the overall scheme of things. And they're currently 2nd and 3rd in their category. Just keeping an eye on Cristiano Morgado as he goes through turn 5. There I can see Martin Pearce And Martin's put another driver in between himself and Tamsin Germain now. And Tamsin is very much on the pace with Martin here and trying to get herself second place in the race if she can, in terms of the Masters division. So Sean Slavin leads the way now with Batman second, Matthias de Tige third. Third, as I say, good enough for a place with Batman already through. But de Tige has been busily catching them up for the last few laps. Adam Gleer goes through in fourth. He's looking pretty rapid as well. There's not much between them. Still, Andreas Batman is slightly slower than those around him. Things not quite working for him here. And that's going to put him under pressure from de Tige and maybe later in the race from Adam Gleer. Although, we've only got 2.5 laps to go in this one. Batman won't give up though. He's pretty quick through turn 5. Hangs on to the tail of the race leader Slavin. De Tige third. De Tige might not take a risk here if he doesn't need to. But he does look quicker than Batman. He'd love to win the race, but the most important thing is to qualify, of course, and get through to the grand finals. Adam Gleer in fourth place is just going to miss out at the moment. How far is he back? He's about half a second back on the top 3. No changes behind. Christian Magardo's up into the top 10 now. Martin Pearce has put a bit of breathing space between himself and Tamsin Germain. Oriel Dalmo is in between them now. So Pearce up to 16th place overall. 2 laps to go in DD2. Sean Slavin leading the way. Andres Batman second. Matthias de Tige right with the Swede as they go through. The British driver leads. The Swede is second. The Belgian is third. Another British driver fourth. A Greek driver in 5th place. Truly international here. And they're getting closer and closer together. Andreas Batman is coming back into this, I think, a little bit. Really pushing hard. Just trying to go for the race win. I think he's not under any pressure in this race, in a sense, having already qualified for the Worlds, for the Grand Finals. So Matthias de Tige closing in, but not finding any gaps yet. Any chinks in the armour of Andreas Batman. Through the right-hander they go at turn 7, down to turn 8. Sean Slavin looks quicker than the 2 pursuers through the second half of the lap to me. That's where his main strength seems to be. Of course, they benefit really from the toe on the other half of the lap, and he can't do much about that as the race leader. He's going to come through the penultimate time now, turn 10, and he's going to begin the final lap of the race. From 4th on the grid, Sean Slavin leads. Pointing forwards is Matthias de Tige. Don't look at me, Andres, he says. Look at the man in front. Let's just go for it. I don't want Adam Gleer to catch me up, and Adam Gleer trying his best under braking to close the gap on the way into turn 2. They jink through the left-hander at turn 3. Andres Batman closes up again under braking. He runs wide through the hairpin, makes a bit of a mistake there, and Matthias de Tige will go through. So de Tige is second now. Adam Gleer trying to just get himself up onto the podium if he can. So Batman just out braking himself and running a little bit wide through turn 4, has dropped down to 3rd place. He's still on for a podium though, unless Adam Gleer can do something about him. He runs wide into the turn, cuts back across, and Andreas Batman has just lost pace here. So Gleer goes through without too many dramas with just a few corners to go. Adam Gleer is up into a podium paying position in 3rd place. Frustratingly, agonisingly, it's not quite going to be a top 2 though. It's not quite going to be enough for a ticket to the grand finals, but it's still a really good effort for Adam to come here and get himself up on the podium. The win, though, is going to go to Sean Slavin. What a cool drive, and he has deserved it. He and Andres Batman and Matthias de Tige have really been quick this weekend, but Sean has just looked super cool and relaxed and determined and focused. He wins the race. Sean Slavin victorious by 9/10 of a second. Matthias de Tige is second, and we'll be joining him with a place through to the grand finals next month. 3rd position to Adam Gleer. He got through with about 20 seconds left on the clock. Andres Batman was 4th. Philippos Kalesis faded to 5th. Luca Kamali came through to 6th place late on, ahead of Jan Vanchek, who was 7th. Barry Pullinger 8th. Cristiano Magardo exuding his class as always. There he is in 9th place. He wins the Masters. He'll be through to defend his grand finals title. He's won the last 3 on the trot. Can he be a Masters champion once again? Who would rule him out? Konstantin Scholl came home 10th. Harold Scott Kaklis 11th. Kevin Ludi next up in 12th place. There you can see the results on screen. 13th Gino Teng, 14th Gerard Sebriam, 15th Sanad Al Rohawi, and then in 16th place Martin Pearce finishes 2nd in the Masters. 3rd in the Masters, Tamsin Germain did her best, but was always going to be difficult from the grid position. But she's on the podium. Magardo, Pearce and Germain the top 3 in Masters. Tom Pitlick comes home in 18th position. And then the rest of the field in DD2, just to run through them off the screen. So in 19th place in that race, In the end, it was Marco Gottler. Steve Bull was 20th. Thoriel Dalmo dropped to 21st. Martins Lapans 22nd. Christoph Adams from the back of the field to 23rd and 4th in class. Javier Campo 24th. Pedro Pezo was 25th. Cristobal Garcia Ramos was next in 26th. Thomas Schumacher 27th. Geza Fodor 28th. Philippe Siwa 29th. Jamie Billings came home in 30th place. Tomokazu Kawazi 31st. Ronald Billings 32nd. Aaron Sherlock failed to finish the race, as did Enrique Batista. So that was the way the race finished. Going to go down now and see if we can grab a word with some of our top drivers there, including Sean Slavin, the race winner, Matthias de Tijen second, Adam Gleer on the podium as well, and then our DD2 Masters podium, Cristiano Magado with a cool drive to victory ahead of Martin Pearce and Tamzin Germain. So just a very quick break here on RGMMC TV, and then we'll see who we can grab a word with before we round out this part of the